Today I am telling you two chilling stories, both about people who spent years working toward a major moment in their lives. But when that moment finally came, it turned into the worst decision they ever made. But before we get in today's stories, if you're a fan of true crime mystery stories, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications. Okay, let's dive into today's stories. On November 18th, 2019, a 54-year-old detective named Muzi walked into a courthouse in South Africa. He had been waiting nearly 6 years for this day. Back in 2014, a brutal home invasion had left a couple badly beaten. A group of armed men stormed their farmhouse, attacked them, and stole valuables including weapons and electronics. Muzi and his team eventually caught the suspects. Now finally, the trial was beginning, and Muzi had a key role. He was responsible for presenting critical evidence in court. But that morning, something felt off. He was exhausted. Years of work, multiple cases, mentoring younger officers. It had all caught up with him. Still, he pushed through and entered the courtroom. Everything seemed normal. Security was tight. The courtroom was full. The prosecutor, someone he trusted, was ready. So Muzi sat down, holding the evidence in his lap, waiting for his turn. As the trial began, something unexpected happened. Instead of feeling energized, he felt relieved. The room was warm. The atmosphere was quiet, and slowly, his eyes closed. Muzi fell asleep. At first, nothing happened, but then, the loud sound of chairs moving across the floor shocked him awake. Startled, he jolted up and dropped the evidence. Panicking, he quickly reached down to grab it. He didn't want anyone noticing he had just fallen asleep in court, but as he picked it up, a deafening gunshot exploded through the room. Screams filled the courtroom. People ran in every direction. Muzi looked around, confused. Was there an attack, a shooter, a gang retaliation? Then he saw her. The prosecutor, lying on the ground, bleeding heavily. For a moment, Muzi froze. Nothing made sense. There was no gunman, no attacker, no threat. And then, it hit him. The evidence he had been holding was a shotgun. Because of delays in the case, the weapon had been returned to the victims years earlier and only brought back that same morning. It had never been properly checked. It was still loaded. When Muzi picked it up, he accidentally pulled the trigger. He had fired the shot. The prosecutor later died from her injuries, and just like that, after decades of service, Muzi's career ended in tragedy. He pleaded guilty to negligence and culpable homicide, and received a suspended prison sentence. All because of one moment, one mistake, one overlooked detail. On July 14th, 1912, a 21-year-old runner stood in his hotel room in Stockholm, Sweden. His name was Francisco, and today he was about to run in the Olympics. This wasn't just any race. It was the marathon, 26.2 miles of pure endurance. And for Francisco, this moment meant everything. He was representing his country, Portugal, in its first ever Olympic Games, and he believed he could win. He had trained for months. He had studied every detail, his diet, his clothing, his strategy. Everything was planned perfectly. But there was one thing he focused on more than anything else: the heat. Race day was expected to be brutally hot. But Francisco wasn't worried. He believed he had found the perfect solution. Before leaving his hotel, He covered his entire body in a thick layer of substance, meant to protect him from the sun. At the starting line, other runners were already sweating. They looked exhausted. But Francisco, he looked calm, cool, dry when the race began. He stayed patient, let others burn out, and slowly he started moving forward. Everything was going according to plan until mile 19. Suddenly, his body began to fail. His legs felt heavy, his vision blurred. Still, he kept running. He told himself this was normal, that this was just fatigue. But it wasn't. Moments later, he collapsed at the hospital. Doctors were alarmed. His temperature was dangerously high, over 106 degrees. They tried everything, cooling him down, giving fluids, emergency treatment, but nothing worked. By the next morning, Francisco was dead. At first, doctors believed it was heat stroke, but something didn't add up. Other runners had suffered in the heat, but they survived. So they investigated further, and what they discovered was shocking. The substance Francisco had covered himself in was a thick animal fat. Instead of protecting him, it sealed his skin, blocked his pores, and prevented him from sweating. His body had no way to cool down. He didn't overheat because of the race. He overheated because his body was trapped. It turned him into a furnace from the inside out. What he believed would give him an advantage actually killed him.